This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Two people are in custody tonight in the wake of a deliberately lit fire which tore through Willow Court this afternoon. The derelict building has been the subject of ongoing attacks and locals say they're fed up with the historic site being targeted.
Surrounded by dark smoke, fire crews working to contain a fire tearing through the old Glenora house at Willow Court.
It's mainly the roof timbers and other combustibles that are burning at the moment.
This local resident called 000 around midday, watching on as it took hold.
The flames were just getting bigger and bigger and wider.
Its intensity sparking the need for the aerial appliance in an attempt to target hotspots burning within the roof space.
We can't enter the inside of the building due to the dangerous nature of the building.
I say it will need to be knocked down.
The New Norfolk crew was on scene within minutes. Surrounding brigades called in for backup, deemed deliberately lit, and two people who were found nearby are currently in custody. The site, which has a long history, including housing mental health patients, has been abandoned for years. But the TFS have tackled numerous fires there in recent weeks.
Really makes you wonder, it really does.
Witnesses to the fire here at the old hospital site say regardless of the known history within the buildings, it's still sad it's the subject of ongoing targeted attacks.
Way back, in the 60s and 70s, and to see them now, derelict buildings, and nobody seems to care anymore.
Tasmania Police is also investigating an arson attack in Mornington overnight. Several cars and shipping containers were set alight at City Automotives around 11 o'clock. Authorities investigating whether the case is connected with a recently stolen vehicle.
We're simply saying we're just exploring the possible link between the two incidents at the moment.
While they were on the scene, a large gas bottle exploded, shocking those nearby.
But the whole house shook. That's how bad the noise was. So it must have been an awful blast.
And we're about 600-700 metres away, and we heard it quite bad down there. So the room shook, the place shook.
Thankfully, no one was injured. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Construction workers at the Royal Hobart Hospital have put down their tools today in action over claims of unpaid wages and visa troubles. More than 100 foreign workers have walked off the job site, but the government says it will not slow down the long-awaited redevelopment.
A $700 million redevelopment potentially stalled as tradies walk off the job. Unions today said 120 plasterers working on the Royal Hobart Hospital stopped work after allegations of unpaid wages and concerns about visa arrangements. The CFMEU said the workers were mostly Chinese nationals and had travelled from Victoria for the project.
We understand that they haven't been paid for a period of up to 6 weeks or perhaps some more, owed many thousands of dollars, and some of them may or may not be illegal visa workers.
An investigation into the allegations is already underway.
At the moment they've stopped work. They're sitting on the site and are refusing to go back to work until the money's in the bank.
John Holland Fairbrother Joint Venture is leading the construction work and in a statement today said it was important everyone who works on its projects was treated fairly and in line with their entitlements, and it expects subcontractors to fulfil their obligations. The government says the walk-off will not cause any delays to the major redevelopment, which is due to be complete by mid-next year.
Our very firm expectation is that the project be delivered on time, on budget. It is absolutely critical for our state's health system and a lot's invested in it, and we expect it to be done.
The project has acted immediately. We have directed the managing contractor to report on their assessment and management of this matter. And also it directed them to provide a review of their processes.
But the opposition has called it a significant setback to an already troubled health system.
This will not only have a massive impact in terms of the individual lives of those and the work and the wages that they receive, but it could have a massive impact on the timing of the delivery of this project.
Government authorities say they were only informed of the allegations this morning. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
A new $7.5 million visitor centre at Bruny Island has opened its doors today, ready for the island's rapidly increasing number of tourists. But controversy remains over the capacity of the island's ferry service, with the new operator set to begin sailing later this month.
Officially open for business, a new $7.5 million visitor centre for Pennicott journeys to accommodate the swelling tourist population on Bruny Island.
Moving into here took out our weak points. We now have a jetty, parking and a really nice centre all in one place.
But he holds concerns for a new ferry service which is preparing to launch, worried it may have less capacity than the current vessels. SeaLink will take over from September 23, promising to build 2 replacement ferries in coming years.
20% drop would mean 18 staff would lose their job and we'd be down millions of dollars, and I'm just one business on the island that would feel that way.
The company today said no jobs will be lost in the changeover, and it will increase capacity through extra sailings.
Being able to provide the security of a booking system, there's the issue of capacity, and there's the issue of frequency, and they're the 3 issues that SeaLink are working with the Bruny Island ferry community.
The lifeblood of this community in many respects is a good ferry service, and that's why we were determined to have a competitive process that ensures best value for money but also the best possible service.
The announcement comes amid concerns from the local community, also worried about capacity and the online booking system. But today passengers were left waiting, many calling for change.
We turned up today not knowing whether we had to book or not, so yeah, we're a bit unsure, but we're glad that we've been able to get on the next ferry.
The tour's from very far away and to waste half a day now and a half is a long time to wait just for a ferry.
We've had 12 weeks of a shambolic approach to try and resolve capacity and access to the island to ensure that both the locals are looked after and the tourism industry can meet the growth that's coming towards it.
One thing everyone can agree on, Bruny Island is open for business. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's Liberal and Labor Party divisions will decide on Saturday who runs on their Senate ticket at the next federal election. There's been speculation Senator Richard Colbeck could face a challenge to secure first place on the Liberals' ticket. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has provided a reference for the senator, urging pre-selectors to back him.
Look, the pre-selectors on Saturday will have a range of very strong candidates to consider. In considering those candidates, they'll look at all sorts of factors, and one of those factors that I'm sure that they'll pay due weight to is those recommendations.
7 challengers have nominated for a spot on the Liberal Senate ticket, including former MP Brett Whiteley and Hobart Alderman Tanya Dennison. Labor is also expected to decide its Senate candidates at the state conference in Hobart. Construction will finally start on the largest piece of the $500 million Midlands Highway upgrade. The $92 million Perth Link Roads project is expected to remove congestion from the township, reduce noise and improve safety.
It's the biggest piece of the Midlands Highway puzzle. Heavy machinery is finally moving onto these fields near Perth, putting the $92 million Road Links project into place.
It is a great project. It's certainly going to make it a little bit more slipstream for people travelling not only from the northwest coast but from Launceston down to Hobart and back again.
From 2021, this is what motorists will see: a 6-kilometre stretch of road and bridges from the Midlands Highway circling Perth. Today, state and federal governments took the first shovel to the 1 million cubic metres of soil to be shifted.
166 direct jobs for this project and 25 indirect jobs. We also expect with our subcontractors and contractors to have up to 200 people on site during peak production.
This upgrade will result in significant safety improvements, not only in terms of within Perth, but outside of Perth as well.
With fewer trucks and cars rumbling down the main street, it's hoped more people will move into Perth.
I think we're all very happy of the attention that this area has received. This is going to create a great opportunity for the town of Perth to grow in a residential way.
Meanwhile, the $500 million upgrade is running 2 years ahead of schedule and could now be completed within 8 years. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
A push is underway to give residents on Tasmania's west coast better access to university-level education and training. The University of Tasmania has announced it will be setting up a study hub in Zeehan, aiming to provide a point of contact for those interested.
For those living on the state's west coast, the University of Tasmania's Burnie campus is the closest if you're looking to study. But that's all about to change, with the Zeehan community approaching the uni, asking for more options.
So it's been traditionally a mining town. Obviously when the mines close there's a lot of unemployment and a lot of skills gaps that have come through from that.
According to the most recent census figures, only 4.5% of West Coast residents have a tertiary or higher education. That's a statistic that's hoped will change, with an estimated 300 to 400 people able to study on the coast.
And certainly the West Coast is the extreme area of Tasmania where we have very low participation rates. So it's a logical area for us to look at how we might reach out to people on the West Coast.
We're at the bottom, I think, of the economic cycle here on the West Coast. I think we have a real opportunity to bring some really good positive economic development to our region, and education, of course, is a key driver in that.
While the program is still only in planning stages, several starter courses will soon be offered, which can then be transferred to a traditional degree.
And we have a number of courses under development, courses that will be of interest to people around tourism, around heritage, around food and nutrition.
For those interested in finding out more, head in and see the West Coast Council for more information. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
New research has tonight revealed the devils bred at the Tasmania Zoo are genetically blessed and hold special value in ensuring the species' survival. The study found the animals raised here carry unique genetic variants not found in other devils.
The team here have always known their devils are special, but now thanks to a group of researchers from the University of Sydney, it's official. The Australasian Wildlife Genomics Group recently analysed the devils and found they have special value to the insurance population, which is a specialised group of Tassie devils bred in an effort to maintain the animal's success.
Our devil breeding program was started here at the zoo 12 years ago with a very small population of devils, and then obviously over time managed to build those numbers up to now close to 50.
But what makes them so special? The study found the devils here have half a dozen private alleles not represented in zoo-based or current wild populations.
From next year, these little guys will be exchanged with zoos right across the country to help increase the species' survival and genetic diversity.
And the good news doesn't stop there. This year's breeding program at the zoo is also up on previous years, with 15 of these tiny devils growing strong.
Most of the babies are still in the pouch. We do have some that have emerged and riding around on mum's back. But yeah, mostly they're all still pouch young at the moment.
Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
Launceston's Junction Arts Festival has unveiled its new spiritual home. Billed as its own take on the Spiegel tent, the Little Devil will be able to hold everything from cabaret to circus acts.
There's been a huge amount of work put in to be able to bring it to fruition so that it could be ready for tonight, and this is the result.
Organisers are also happy with a strong turnout to last night's festival launch. The event runs until September 9. More than 200 students have battled it out in the Science Stakes today. Bright minds from 13 schools converged on the Science and Engineering Investigation Awards, all looking to impress judges with their findings in areas such as agriculture and marine science.
We're hoping that they will think about science as a career choice and possibly go to university.
The awards have been running since 2003. Let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed lower in the wake of near across-the-board falls triggered by increased US-China trade worries, falling world oil prices and a new round of mortgage rate hikes by local banks. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 70 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 71.77 US cents and just under 62 euro cents.
Flag fever is also building back home, with Lauderdale and Glenorchy preparing to battle it out for a spot in the TSL Grand Final. The Southern Bombers will be bolstered by the unexpected return of skipper Bryce Walsh as the side looks to continue its red-hot form following last weekend's 72-point drubbing of Launceston, while the Pies will be looking to bounce back from their 57-point loss to flag favourites North Launceston.
We actually don't even have a meeting before the game. You just talk to them briefly before they go out and they get to play their game. They're actually really switched on with what they want to achieve, and I don't think they can get distracted from that.
You know, we're a good team. We've shown it over and over this season. We had a bad first quarter last week. That was their feeling, but they haven't let it dent them at all.
The opening bounce is at 5 p.m. this Saturday at Blunston Arena. Well, they're the comments that left North Launceston President Thane Brady in the line of fire, suggesting the women's grand final be shifted to not interrupt the flow of the men's game. And although clubs disagree with the way he went about it, they say he raised a serious issue that needs to be addressed. He's never been short on an opinion, but many feel Thane Brady crossed the line this time around. The Bombers president taking to the club's Facebook page yesterday, slamming AFL Tasmania's decision to schedule the women's TSL Grand Final in between the Men's Development League and TSL Final. Imagine scheduling a weekend garage band still learning their craft in between Beyonce and Pink, Brady wrote. The comments attracting immediate damnation from some, including Launceston women's player Angela Dixon. Wow, and this from a club that wants to field a women's team next year. Good luck with trying to get anyone who would play for you. But some feel Brady had a valid point despite his controversial delivery, with Lauderdale coach Darren Winter claiming the same scheduling last year interrupted his side's pre-grand final preparation.
I haven't seen the comments, but well, we found it difficult last year because they only go for 15-minute quarters, so it threw pre-game out a fair bit.
All year we've played directly after Mercury Cup, and all our preparation and timings and that is based around it. I think it should be the Mercury Cup, the TSL, and then the TSLW. And whether you run that at 10:15, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you have them all on the same day. It's a great showcase.
AFL Tasmania today holding firm on the issue. We don't apologise for supporting the TSLW and for giving Tasmania's top female footballers the stage they deserve, leaving the organisation and TSL clubs once again at loggerheads. Cricket, and the Tasmanian Tigers have finalised a squad of 16 bound for Brisbane next week for a pre-season training camp and practice match against Queensland. It comes ahead of their JLT One Day Cup campaign.
With everyone making finals means that the first few rounds we can almost use as a pre-season, and then when the business end starts and the pressure starts to come on later in the tournament, that's when we'll hope to have our best side and playing our best cricket.
The build-up of excitement and anticipation, just the fact it's a new season, always bubbles to the surface.
The list will then be dwindled down to 14 players before the Tigers' first official match against Victoria on September 19.
Good evening. 17 degrees today for Hobart. Launceston reached a top of 14 with 13 degrees for Burnie and Devonport. The state's top was 18 degrees today for King Island and Grove, 17 for Flinders Island, Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park, 16 at St Helens and Strawn. Fingal hit a top of 15 with 7 the top in Lyweenie. Cloudy conditions dominating the state there today for you. Further out, cold air convective cloud visible behind a mid-level band that covers southeastern states. An onshore airstream directs low cloud over the east coast of Queensland, but the remainder is pretty cloud-free. Tomorrow the cold front lies east of Tasmania, extending a trough into New South Wales, Queensland and the Territory. A high lies over South Australia while a cold front approaches WA. West to southwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, more southerly about the east, shifting northwesterly about the west and the south later, with seas around 2 metres. And there is a minor flood warning for the upper reaches of the Meander River and a flood watch for all northern river basins. Onto the forecast, showers through the south tomorrow, 14 in Hobart and Campania, 13 for Huonville. 16 and showers for Launceston, sunny and 15 degrees in Devonport and Georgetown. Mostly sunny in Burnie and Wynyard, 15 degrees. Showers for Strahan, 13, with rain easing throughout the east. 15 in St Helens and Swansea, 13 for Port Arthur. Showers about the north and the west expected to move further out statewide on Saturday. Showers contracting to the west later on Sunday, with showers about the west easing later on Monday but fine elsewhere. Looking around Australia for tomorrow, 19 degrees in Perth, 16 for Adelaide and Melbourne, 18 in Canberra, 22 and showers for Sydney, 25 in Brisbane, a few clouds about, with a sunny 32 in Broome. And at the moment, a few clouds about the state, 14 in Hobart, 12 in Launceston and 12 also with a few showers in Devonport. Joe, I'm not impressed with all this rain. Where's spring?
Yeah, where is spring? Well, you're supposed to bring that on, Sam, not me. That's all from the team for now. Thanks for your company. Have a lovely evening. Go the Hawks. Good night.